ridiculous. Blackford throwing tantrums when knee bridge plans rejected, demands £20 billion from Boris. Ian Blackford has ordered Boris Johnson to cough up £20 billion for Scotland, after plans for a bridge to Northern Ireland are rejected. The planned bridge was set to span from Northern Ireland to Scotland, bringing a road link between the two countries. The bridge has now been ruled out on the basis of the forecasted costs and engineering challenges which would come with the building of it. According to the Telegraph, Sir Peter Hendy deemed the project as not viable at the moment. A source said that Sir Peter found that the bridge would be technically very challenging at the moment. The source told the paper, "That's not to say it won't become viable at some point in the future, but at the moment it would be very, very difficult and expensive." The Department for Transport told the BBC, "We don't comment on speculation. The Union Connectivity Review will be published shortly." But Ian Blackford, leader of the Scottish National Party in the House of Commons, was fuming with the decision to cancel these plans. The Member of Parliament took to Twitter to blast the government for bringing an end to the plans for this bridge. Mr. Blackford tweeted, "Another broken promise from Westminster. If the bridge isn't going ahead, Scotland should get its fair share of the £20 billion investment we were promised, so we can spend it on worthwhile and deliverable transport projects in communities across Scotland." Twitter users jumped to the defence of Ian Blackford following his tweet about the bridge. @Ortroon tweeted, "Not a promise to be broken, Ian. Even the public knew this bridge was just another racket for pocketing taxpayers' money. Now let's get the job done and get independence on the table. We can see what's going on and you surely can too. #Scottish Independence. Dick Winchester tweeted, "To be fair, Ian, this wasn't really a promise because a promise has to be based on something that's actually possible. This project was never ever going to be possible. It was actually a lie, and that's worse than breaking a promise." @Boot Revolution tweeted, "Glad this one got broken as it would have been a massive waste of money with significant environmental impact. Projects like this need to be consigned to the bin if we stand any chance of slowing down global warming." In another news, SNP Westminster leader Ian Blackford has demanded that Scotland gets its share of £20 billion that was earmarked by Boris Johnson for his planned bridge across the Irish Sea. The UK government is expected to formally announce this week that the plan is being ditched when it publishes its Union Connectivity Review. Sir Peter Hendy, who was asked by the government to examine connections between the different parts of the UK, is said to have concluded the project was not currently viable. A government source told the Telegraph that Sir Peter had examined the costs of a fixed link to Northern Ireland and found it would be technically very challenging at the moment. A source added, "That's not to say it won't become viable at some point in the future, but at the moment it would be very, very difficult and expensive." Mr. Blackford says the fund allocated to build the bridge connecting Scotland and Northern Ireland should now be shared by the governments at Stormont and Holyrood. He said, "Let's be honest, Boris Johnson's plans for a bridge between Scotland and Northern Ireland were daft, but the funding that was suggested for it can and should be made available. It could then be spent on transport and connectivity projects that are worthwhile and deliverable, and compatible with our climate obligations." The Tories' HS2 snub to Northern England last week shows how their promises can't be trusted. But a fair share of the money earmarked for the bridge project could allow proper investment in projects like high-speed rail for Scotland. And the money should be allocated to Holyrood and Stormont to spend as they choose, respecting devolution, not spent over the heads of the devolved governments. We are seeing again what happens when the Tories make vague promises of investment in Scotland. All that Scotland gets in return is cuts, broken promises, and the Tories handing contracts to their cronies. And the